Without words. Really, I'm without words. You have to just see this. You have to experience this. There are no words for it. You will cry. You will laugh. You will get up out of your seat and cheer. Come see this movie.
I love the dialogue between the Africans and the African Americans in the room. I loved how they just kept it 100%. That was really phenomenal. I also really love the director's sense of style, the beautiful black and white effect of the masks, tin, and the slow motion, and just the way movement worked in that piece, whether it was moving forward, moving backwards, moving together, like helping establish visually what the conversation was regarding bridging the discourses and the communities of Africans and African Americans, and really appreciated the historical contextualizing. Like, that was absolutely phenomenal. So I recommend it 100%. Get the film, get your institution to get the film, sit down with your kids, watch it, and change lives.
What I did essentially was I wanted to look at what did several hundred years of trauma produce. Now let me put that in context for you so you can understand, because I'm trained clinically. That's part of my training, mental health. And we all are all familiar with post-traumatic stress disorder. Post-traumatic stress disorder is a disorder that occurs as a result of experiencing directly or indirectly a trauma, a single trauma. Now, again, directly experiencing it, I shoot her, she's traumatized. You're traumatized, you saw me. The woman sitting at the desk didn't see it but heard the shot, traumatized. Family back home, traumatized. She saw it too, not traumatized. She just happened to have a level of resilience that she says, wow, it was a horrible experience. I'm sorry that happened to her. We should visit her in the hospital. Where are we going to go for dinner? A whole other thing, right? There's nothing wrong with her. She said everybody has different strengths and have different, differential response to a traumatic event. Now, I showed you any one of those people I just named could have a stress-related illness as a result of a single trauma experienced directly or indirectly. That's one. Imagine a lifetime of trauma. And imagine not only your whole lifetime of experiencing trauma, but several hundred years of it. So then you have to, do the math. We weren't there. The past is not available to us today. But you can do the math as a clinician. We are going to have resilience, some. But we're not talking about a single trauma. Are you following me? Mm-hmm. We're talking about multiple traumas for hundreds of years. Not only are you traumatized directly, you're seeing your friends, your cousins, and everyone in your environment traumatized. And so now, is it plausible, becomes a question of anyone, that all of those people escaped who were just simply happy slaves, which some people would like to believe, that we were just all happy. But let's just say, over all of that trauma, and again, let's be very explicit about what that was. Being beaten, sold away from family, raped, mutilated, all those things that were happening. And eventually, of course, lynched. That was after slavery, though. But looking at those traumas, is it plausible that those people escaped stress-related illness? Not plausible. So let's say even a quarter of them experienced stress-related illness. Exaggerated startle response, outbursts of anger, difficulty falling or staying asleep, a feeling of foreshortened future, right? This kind of emotional volatility that goes on, physically, mentally, emotionally. Now, that's the person that wasn't able to escape it with your resilience. But they're raising children. Children don't know that mommy or daddy or big mama or whoever it is broken. They don't know that. It's the behavior that's modeled. What? The hypervigilance, all of those behaviors. Those are being modeled now. And then after a while, it just gets woven into the fabric of things. Do you follow me? Mm-hmm. And guess what we call it now? Culture. Do you see? Mm-hmm. So now we're saying that's culture. Really? Really? That's adaptive. So there's poison in the cookies. We can't just swallow it whole as cultural.
I'm sorry to say this, but Sunday is one of the most segregated hours. Sunday morning is one of the most segregated hours in the United States of America. I mean, think about it. Christianity was used as a means to oppress darker skinned people, right?
Right.
And I think that anybody of a darker hue should question everything and anything that ever came with colonialism and slavery. Question everything. Question everything. You shouldn't be like hop, skip, step, and running your way into a church. You gotta question it first. Because it came with a purpose when it initially came. David Livingstone came and said, we need to Christianize, civilize, and commercialize the African. The 3 C's.
Civilize, commercialize.
And we're going to have to Christianize, civilize, commercialize the African. First you have to come into a country and say you have divinely been you are being sent here by divine providence. God has sent you here. They start to pay attention. You begin to civilize them. Once you begin to civilize them, you begin to take shit away from them, and you call it commercialization. We gotta question everything. We gotta question everything.
Yeah, commercialization, using them as the product.
Yeah. You use Africans to work. You come in, you have them grow your cotton. Africans were growing cotton in Kenya. Were growing cotton, and then the cotton was being harvested and being taken to Britain, and they were making clothes, and then they were bringing the clothes back to sell them to the same Africans who were making the cotton. There was nothing wrong with our hides and skin. We were quite okay. Question everything. I really believe that. Until it's true for you, question it. Don't just take it because it was given to you. Face value.
Hi, my name is Perez Owino, and I'm from Kenya. That's in East Africa. Now you don't know me, and I probably don't know you, but we have one thing in common. We are the children of the African diaspora. Now, bear with me for a minute. If you look around the world, at any place where you have people of color, be it Haiti, Jamaica, Congo, Rwanda, Detroit, South Central Los Angeles, you will see the same images. Drugs, violence, war, poverty. Have you ever wondered why? Because, based on these images, you would think that people of African descent are poor. But that's not true. You see, we are the inheritance of the continent of Africa. And Africa is the richest resource continent on the planet. Now, China is in there, India is in there, Europeans were in there, America is in there, all siphoning out resources. Why? Simple. Because it's easy to rob a house when no one's home. And we are not home. So I'm not going to focus on what China is doing or what India is doing, but what you and I are doing as Africans and African Americans. What are we doing? Because while we are busy here, being disconnected, being divided, we are being conquered. And it's not that other races hate black people. No, that's not it. See, they understand the importance of Africa, sometimes even more than we do. But not anymore. See, you and I are about to start a dialogue. You and I are going to reclaim Africa. So join us. Donate to this film fund. Walk with us. Let us awaken, so to speak, and claim what is really ours, because Africa is our responsibility. Thank you.
Your ancestors made it across, and mine survived so that you and I could be here right now doing this, because it's not about me or you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I know what you mean.
It's bigger than me and you.
What's touched you to push to make Bound in the first place?
I tell everybody this because it's a place of, it's embarrassing. But I live in Ladera, Inglewood area, and I lived there for like 4 years, and I didn't know my neighbors, and I didn't want to know my neighbors. I'm living here in Africa in a black community, and I am alienating myself. Why? Why? When I was in Kenya, all I wanted to do was to connect with African Americans, but here I am now in their midst, and I'm like, what is this thing? And then you sit and you start to look at everybody's face, and you look at every young. When I look at young black boys, 15, 16, 17 years old, because I have brothers who are 16, 17 years old, I see my brothers. I literally see my brothers. And that just continued to like do this thing, like, no, you have to go in here, you have to go in here, you have to go in here. And I went in, and then I realized that it wasn't even me who had to go in there, that there's a call that's coming from way back that's saying, I need you to go in here for me. Because I need you, as the people who are left behind, who are ripped from families, I need you to make me whole. And the other side is, I need you to make me whole. Because I think when me and you are here, we forget that before us, there were others who were torn apart. And who's making them whole? You know? And we have to do that. We have to do that. There's a reason why the 60s, there's a reason why Jim Crow ended in 64, and most African countries are getting their independence in 63, 64. Why is that? Why do we have a picture of Kwame Nkrumah and Martin Luther King? Why is that? Why did W.E.B. Du Bois start to speak about the independence of Africa and mentor African leaders? Why? You know, we can't stop asking, what did they see that we didn't, that we don't, or that we're seeing? Why did Isaiah need to find his DNA, get his lineage? Why? Why did he have that passion to do that? Why is he in Sierra Leone right now? Why did Regina King find a DNA? Oprah Winfrey, Whoopi Goldberg, why?
Could you describe the meaning of the title Bound?
Now, bound just means, it has a multitude of definitions. If you look at the definition of the word bound, it speaks about how we're connected to each other as a people, how we are connected to our own experiences, how it's just being bound to stuff. We are connected to our experiences, we are connected to each other, we are connected to humanity, we are connected to the great human story. It's all, however you want to read it when you watch it, then bound then becomes how you understand the African American story, or how you understand the story of black people and the rest of the world. Let me tell you the highest compliment anybody gave me. This was a friend of mine who watched half of the documentary and paused it and called me. And she said, I watched this and you managed to make me empathize with the African American experience. My job was done. That was it. Because if you could get the other side, to see the other side of the story, your job is done. Because now people go into themselves, and now every time an African looks at an African American, and every time an African American looks at an African, you don't judge. You feel like you can go and ask a question and get the story. So what it is to be curious about each other. Let's not make decisions and conclusions. Let's be curious about one another. And that's like I was telling you that I'm coming for you. As an African, I'm coming for you, you know. And like, people laugh at me when I tell them that, especially African Americans, and I'm like, I'm coming for you, and you, and you, and you. I'm coming for all of you. Because I have to come for you. And I have to come for you because you remember me and I remember you. I'll be like, yeah, you know me. Be like, yeah, I know you. I'll be like, I know you too. Because we are close. We are close. It's only 500 years, so we are close. But I have to get you because I need you to get everybody else. Because you and I have to sit and say, okay, we need to get Billy now. We need to get Jean-Louis right there. We need to get Lupe. We need to get all these people. We need to bring it all home. But I have to start with you. Because you remember me. The others might not remember me. They're like, yeah, I have a vague recollection of home. Bring it all in. Because that's what Africa is. It's home.